Hey everybody, welcome to Life Inside Hell. It's me, Brother Wild Bill, coming to you from inside the most dangerous prison in the Western Hemisphere, where I'm the prison's chaplain as well as an inmate. I'm reading from my book today. I've been in prison for 13 years, and I wrote a book called Concentration Camp 2000. It deals with all kinds of stuff in prison, not just one thing or another, but it also has a story of how I got put in Sector C, which is a soft torture facility that's used by the international community in the Republic of Panama. I've been in this place for 3 years and 8 months of hell on earth, and this is why it's called Life Inside Hell, because I live in a veritable man-made hell. So I want you to check out this story. I'm going to read some of it. I don't know how far I'll go. I'll read quite a bit of it, and then maybe we'll do another bit for tomorrow. Let me go there. This is Life Inside Hell, and we're reading from Concentration Camp 2000, A Grave Error. My name is William Dathan Halbert. Everybody calls me Wild Bill, El Salvaje Bill in Espanol. I was a professional killer and Central American cartel operative between the years 2005 and 2010. I'm serving 46 years on a quintuple homicide bit in the Republic of Panama. Now that sounds depressing and frightening, I know, but I assure you that a man can get used to anything. As odd as it sounds, my life was floating along quite well until the month of January in 2019. You see, I want you to understand that corruption is a wonderful thing when you have loads of cash and it's working for you. It's not so wonderful when you're broke and it's working against you, as we'll soon see. Having completed just over 8.5 years of my sentence at this point in 2019, I had just gotten married to yet again another mistake. She was young and attractive and completely in love with the humble author of this book. I got to see her an hour a week in a regular visit and to have sexual relations with her once a month. The conjugal visits lasted for 3 hours once a month. In reality, in a laid-back country prison, I was getting laid weekly. It's truly amazing what a $100 bill can buy in an easy jail in Panama. I was making it work for me. I had a very enviable job in the prison commissary as a supervisor. My job took 3 days a week off my lengthy sentence. It kept me busy and made me someone of importance on the inside. It also made me filthy rich, as most of the contraband that entered that quiet facility passed through my greedy paws. I was knocking down $500 a week on swag mobile phones alone. That's a meager sum of scratch in the first world, I know, but inside a Panamanian prison, it was a ton of cash that bought me huge privileges in a place where the warden of the prison made $100 to $200 US dollars a month, $1,200 US dollars a month. I made more than he did. Running both a boxing and weightlifting program on the side during my time off, I stayed occupied. An occupied prisoner is a satisfied one. Also, it kept me in great physical shape. I fought in boxing matches at least twice a year and held an 8-1-0 record, losing my very first match, not having a clue how to box. I began to train afterwards and never lost a fight again. These privileges were not free. I had to bribe prison authorities heavily to get them. No matter that the law provides for these rights as minimum for all prisoners, those who don't pay in Panama don't play. So pay I did, and contentedly so. I was happy with the setup. A silly thing happened to me, as maybe it's happened to you. One day, as I was watching an economically challenged prisoner be forced by a guard to clean up human feces, I grew a conscience. It began to bother me how the have-nots were being abused. The prison was a real hell for anyone who hadn't the monetary resources that I had. So I began to speak to my friends about these injustices. My friends, both the inmates and the guards, all advised me to keep my big mouth shut and to just keep living well. I listened to them for a while. Every day, however, I began to pay more and more attention to the realities that the humblest prisoners had to put up with. One day, a Costa Rican friend of mine was using his contraband mobile phone to speak to a journalist in the United Kingdom. He informed me that she wanted to speak to me. Being the vain monkey that I was, and continue to be, I must admit, I was all too delighted to speak with her. How many times I wish I had declined her offer. My life would be very different today had I negated the desires of Miss Sophie Evans. A veritable demon from hell she turned out to be for me. I spoke to Sophie from Great Britain's Daily Mirror. She asked me all sorts of things, and then finding out a little bit about me, asked me if I would like to do an interview with her. My fragile, hungry ego was pumped to the max, and she stroked it. We talked and talked, and she was kind of bitchy but very physically attractive, and I'm a sucker for a cute broad, so we got on well. Sophie told me that she wanted to do a story about the human rights abuses inside the prison, and I was super excited. She asked me to make a video call with my friend's mobile phone, and I balked at that. You see, a mobile phone is contraband, obviously. If it came out in an interview on a video, if I came out in an interview on a video call, the authorities would eat me for lunch. I explained this to dear Sophie. This lying devil promised it was only to verify my identity to the newspaper. She swore she would never use the call in an interview anywhere. Hook, line, and sinker, I fell for it. In Panama, many times I've had dealings with journalists. My case is a famous one here in the Central America. These journalists have always played ball with me. They've protected me many times as a source, and when quoting me lied and said they had visited me or that they'd spoken to me via public telephone from inside. Sophie promised verbally to do the very same thing. What a cheater. A week after our little video flirt, she published an article in the Daily Mirror called Sex, Sausages, and Killers, or something like that. You can go Google it and see how damning it was to me. She apparently had an accomplished reporter filming her while she was speaking to me on the phone, the dirty devil. Breaking every ethical rule of journalism, this rat filmed me and published it after swearing not to do so. I hope karma catches up to Miss Sophie Evans. I divulged many secrets about how well I lived on the inside. In the piece she published as an exclusive interview, I was primarily concerned with the well-being of poor prisoners. This harpy warped the interview to be about me and how well I lived on the inside. She bragged about my sexual practices, access to firearms, and eating habits. The only reason I had even spoken of these things was to show the disparity between the everyday prisoner and myself. I asked her repeatedly not to mention what she was digging for, but she promised, and she promised. When the article came out, the authorities came down on me like a ton of bricks. The fight then began to save my stupid, trusting ass from a terrible fate, a fight I was destined to lose. All right, so that's as far as we're going to go today. We'll pick up the rest of it tomorrow. That's like one tiny little piece of that book, and so we'll pick up that tomorrow. Maybe we'll go 2 or 3 days with this. I hope you guys are enjoying it. If you know anybody that would like to publish this damn book or have any interest in, a publisher who works with prisoners, there's no law in any country that would stop me from being published there. I'm not in Great Britain. I'm not in the United States. I'm outside the United States, so I can publish any work. I'm not publishing things about what happened to me or about crimes I did, so I'm allowed to publish prison memoirs, basically what this is. And not only that, there's another part of it that's really cool about the La Jolla Christmas massacre in 2019. Anyway, if you're enjoying the story, tomorrow we'll have another one drop as well. God bless each of you and every one of you. Pull the description box down. There's my email address, my Instagram, and my Facebook are there. You can contact me directly that way. Or you can read about me on Wikipedia. There's a Wikipedia link there, and there's a link to a book that I did publish called Long Live the King Wild Bill. Long Live the King Wild Bill is available on Amazon today in paperback and ebook. Pick yourself up a copy. Thanks, guys, for listening. Like, subscribe, and comment. Pretty pleased with sugar on it. That's me, Wild Bill.